Well, welcome into Ames, Iowa, home of Iowa State. Here at the Hilton Coliseum, we have the final non-conference match between the Iowa State Cyclones and the Syracuse Orange. Iowa State 7-5, the Cuse 3-4. As we welcome you in once again alongside former Stanford head coach Sean Dunning, I'm Sam Ravitch. Coach, this is the last tune-up, as it were, before conference play begins. What is the importance of that?
Yeah, they're both excited to get into conference play, but they've been through a long preseason, played tough schedules. Both teams have showed they're tough, and they're going to keep getting better. I think this is a wonderful matchup. I think we're going to see some great volleyball today, a very offensive team versus a very defensive-oriented team. It's going to be fun.
Well, we really have an exciting matchup for Jess Shaben, who has been one of the more powerful offensive players, not only on her team, but in the Big 12. What do we expect the outside hitter today?
She's a senior leader, really good all-around player, terminator on offense, plays all 6 rotations. She's just somebody they're going to have show up today, but she does.
There she is, Jess Shaben, 3.49 kills per set. That's 5th in the Big 12. On the other side for the Syracuse Orange, Polina Shemanova. You talk about power, Coach. Yep. Shemanova has that in spades, doesn't she?
She sure does. I mean, you watch her play. She's a freshman, 17-year-old. She is a good all-around player, plays the whole court, and she can really terminate at the net. So Syracuse is going to rely very heavily on her.
We're just about ready to get underway here at Hilton Coliseum. Both of these teams playing some difficult non-conference games. But when you look at what Syracuse did last night, they played 5 sets. Does that play any sort of factor into that?
Yeah, the home court for Iowa State and the fact that Syracuse played late last night can factor in. They just have to be tough, no doubt.
Elisada back to serve, and we are officially underway to the
baseball tonight, and both are streaming live on the ESPN app. We take a look at the Iowa State season summary here. The Cyclones coming into this game, this match 7-5. They've had a tough non-conference schedule, as had Syracuse. And you look at the bottom there, Coach, how much is this going to affect the team heading into conference play with Avery Rhodes and Megan Hart out indefinitely? Yeah. There's a lot of question marks there at the middle.
Yeah, Hart might come back. Rhodes isn't. But that's why you train the way you do. You have the deep teams that you have. They make an adjustment and they go from there. You have no choice.
Iowa State taking the first set here at the Hilton Coliseum, 25-18. There you see defensive specialist Haley Hilligus, the 5'6" redshirt junior out of Charles City, Iowa. Our very own John Dunning caught up with the libero to talk about not only the importance of the position, but what it has meant to Iowa State at large over the past couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, Christy's done a great job. Joe, I know last year for me personally, he just really helped me develop as a libero, and I think just the tradition that Iowa State brings is kind of like, our word is relentlessness, so just kind of relentless in defense, and I think that really helps us play offensively too, because the more we get up, the more we can kind of rally on. That's just a really big word for us in practice and in games, our defense is what really gets us going, and so just having that atmosphere here and in practice I think really gets defensive players going, DSs, liberos, all around, just in the back row. I think we're just kind of at that preseason grind right now and ready to start conference play. Just the past couple years just going to the NCAA personally, it's been really fun, and I think the team this year, we're kind of trying to find our groove and kind of getting into what we're going to do later on, but I think this team has a lot of potential for the end of season and stuff, going into the NCAAs, and just preparing against teams like Nebraska and Creighton, and then just being in the Big 12 I think will really help us prepare for that in the first couple rounds, and I think we'll have a really good chance at making it again this year.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, thank you.
A big thank you to Haley Hilligus for joining us before this match. And Coach, you've been there. You've had some great liberos. As you see the Big 12 Libero of the Year right there.
Yeah.
You've coached to 5 national championships, won 5 of them, with 3 with Stanford. I mean, what does it mean to have a player like Haley Hilligus on your team?
Well,
wasn't that long ago we didn't have a libero.
Right.
And it was a setter-driven kind of team, but the libero steps in now, and they have a great leadership role. Her energy changes the game. Her relentless defense changes the game. When you have someone like that on your team, you just have a huge ace in your deck.
She talked about that. Relentlessness was kind of a word that was being put around during practice and headed up by Christy Johnson-Lynch. And
yeah, it clearly is Christy's way. She's relentless. She wants them to play as hard as they can on every play, and you have to have someone lead the way, and that's what Haley's doing.
There's head coach Christy Johnson-Lynch, now in her 14th year at Iowa State. 13 straight winning seasons, 20 or more wins 7 times. She's done a good job of really turning this program around from what it was a little while ago.
Yeah, she is really good, and she is just an amazing person. She's doing all this with her family and everything, which is so wonderful to see. She's a great coach, and she's a great person. I love talking to her.
12 straight NCAA tournament appearances for Iowa State and company. And Coach, that's not easy to do. That's just one of 11 teams nationally to do so.
Yeah, that's amazing. To be in that league, that category is really cool, because not having cycles in your program where people graduate, but then the next year you're good anyway, I mean, that's a sign of a really solid program.
Oh, you see there, it has been all Iowa State so far here today at the Hilton Coliseum. And a big part of that has been the offense of Jess Shaban. She leads the way for Iowa State, 9 kills. She's hitting .562, Coach Dunning.
Yeah, I mean, that swing she just took right there is how she's played the whole game. Very aggressive, setting her approach up really well so she can go in and attack. She's done a great job. Variety of shots as well.
All Big 12 preseason honoree, and she's showing us just why that is here today. As we take a look at the stats through the first 2 sets here, you can see the big, I think, mark that you're seeing here is the hitting percentage between the 2 teams, and also at the net, it hasn't really been close. I mean, Iowa State, it looks like, has been all over the block.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I mean, I don't know that I would be sure why right now, but the Iowa State block is in a good place. They've gotten some great blocks, and they've touched a lot of balls and channeled balls to their defense, and their defense is doing a great job as they have grown to depend on, you know. It's kind of vintage Iowa State volleyball, I would guess, right here we're seeing.
Polina Shemenova, who we highlighted in our open, has struggled to get things going consistently here in this match. There you see the 4 consecutive 20-plus kill matches. She has only got 3 kills in 15 attempts here today. So credit to Iowa State, or Shemenova not really showing up today?
You know, it's like a combination of things, I think. Iowa State, if I were them, I would have gone after her. I would have tried to set up to stop her serve to, like, you know, affect her.
This week on ESPNW.com, full coverage of the Seattle Storm's WNBA championship from Kenya to New Mexico. Edna Pergat's long road to the NCAA champion. And we got a feature as well on Nebraska's Michaela Fecke. That Nebraska team defeating Iowa State last week. We saw that Nebraska team that lost the opener, by the way, the reigning national champion. They got their work cut out for them this year. It's not going to be very easy to get back there. There's so many talented teams.
A lot of good teams, that's for sure. Michaela Fecke on your team. Hopefully down the road, Lexi Sun in the lineup. No one is going to worry about Nebraska. They're going to be fine.
I don't think anyone was worrying about Nebraska. I think they certainly have the upper hand here, and they certainly could get back to the national championship here.
Yep.
Christy
sure.
Johnson-Lynch having some words with her teammates now, and there you see her coach. She was the Nebraska setter and helped lead them to their first national championship, 1991, 1995. And she got a huge round of applause when the Cyclones went back to Nebraska. It's really exciting to see, huh?
Yeah, she's very special. She coaches the way she played, all out. She played all out the whole time. She was so smart. She was a very much a Pettit player. I think her mind and his mind meshed really well together. She's very special. National team player. I'm sure I didn't play with her, obviously. Great leader as well. Yeah, that's cool. Go back home and have the fans recognize you.
Cyclones looking to get back to the regionals for the first time in 5 years. You see those last 5 tournament results. It's either been the first or second round for the Cyclones, but they've been there. They've had the tools. It's going to have to be quite a run to come back and save this one. Piper Mock back to serve on the match point for the Orange. Here comes Ibambuze. She finishes it off. And the pure emotion for the Syracuse Orange after playing 5 sets last night, coming back down 2 sets today to win the next 3 and go on to win this match in their final road game before returning back to Syracuse. They win the 5th set 15-9. Coach, your thoughts on a very, very impressive match on both sides and a hard-fought match for both teams?
Starting with one thing, it's a fitting way to end the match, given the way it went, is for Ibambuze to bounce it on their win, because they kind of rode her back to get there. She's the one that brought the energy, changed the tone of the match for them. You know, for me, she's the player of the match because of that. I thought Jess Shaban played great on the other side, and when you look at it, for me, watching other matches that I've watched and watching the level of play here, the teams have to walk away. Iowa State's going to walk away not feeling good about it, right? It's their court. They wanted to defend. But they have to walk away going, that's good volleyball. We got better tonight. We had some new people in the lineup tonight that weren't used to being there who did a great job. Both teams can walk away from this with good stuff.
Syracuse comes back to win in 5 sets. After going down 2-0, they win the next 3 sets in Iowa. Syracuse, 3 sets out of the 5. That wraps it up for us here from the campus of Iowa State. For Coach John Dunning, I'm Sam Ravitch, our entire production crew saying so long from Ames, Iowa.